So, I want to tell you about the thing that fundamentally changed how everything works for me in business. And very simply, it was manifestation, but maybe in a little different way than you think. I would like to introduce you to the way it was introduced to me. And since today is 8/8, it's the perfect day to do it. So, let's talk about this. A couple of years ago, I was introduced to the Lionsgate portal. Now, as someone who grew up in the church, dated a preacher, the whole nine, this was not necessarily something in my upbringing, not something I was used to. But the thing that I settled in my spirit was very much so this. A little magic will never hurt. It's really the belief. The belief is the magic, right? And so when we're thinking about the belief, if you are someone who is in business, and even if you are woo or aren't woo, a little magic will never hurt you. Okay. So here's what I do. So for the last couple of years, and I went and pulled these out on 8/8 on my birthday, on New Year's Eve, and then on the first day of spring. So that gives me once every quarter, once every season, I do this. And so what I do is I script out a letter to myself. So I write a letter from my future self talking about what the next year of my life looks like. So 2 years ago when I did this, I wrote out like a whole bunch of things. And then at one point, and this is, I'm a writer. So as a creative writing exercise, we typically are like writing, and you just keep writing, right? Like you just keep moving your hand across the paper, and you're going to continue writing until you're really not thinking about it. And so now your subconscious is talking. And so 2 years ago, when I was doing this practice, I wrote on there that I was moving out of a luxury apartment into my dream home. And so when I went back and read through what I had written out, because again, I'm not thinking about what I'm writing, I'm just writing. When I went back and read that, I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense because I live in a house. And so that was 8/8. By the end of the month, multiple things happened. The lease on my house was up. The lease on our rental was up. I happened upon a brand new luxury apartment complex that was very close to the area where my dream home is. And when I did a walkthrough of those apartments, as soon as I walked in the door, it felt like I was supposed to be there. And so 3 weeks later, we moved. 3 weeks later, we moved into this luxury apartment. And all of that came from literally just a subconscious that was written out on the paper. Last year, when I did it, I was talking about how much traveling I had done and how many conferences I spoke at. And this summer was the summer of conferences. I spoke at 4 conferences this summer. And again, something that was scripted, right? So while these are like front and back, everything that's in them didn't come true, but there were some things in these that absolutely came true. Now, why would you do this? Why is this something that you should actually like sit down and do today? Number one, it helps put you into the belief of something bigger than you. It allows you to daydream without you really thinking about it, right? You're just writing out, this is what my life looked like for the last year. And you're writing it as though it is the next year, and you're writing it as though it's already happened. Writing things as though they've already happened is what is the game changer. If you write, I want XYZ to happen versus XYZ happened, then the universe is going to respond to you very, very differently. And so I want to give you a couple of tips if you're going to try this out today. It doesn't take a long time. And honestly, what are you going to lose if you do this? Nothing. But what could you gain? A whole lot. So here's what I want you to do. Identify what you want. Be very specific on what you want. I don't believe that we should impose timelines on ourselves. I 100% believe that we can collapse timelines and that we jump timelines. So if you are like, I want to make $1 million in a year, I think it's possible for you to do that. I think it's going to take magic and strategy, but I think it's possible for you to do that, right? So identify what you want and then script it as though it's already happened, right? It's already yours. And the last tattoo I got literally says it's already yours. That's what that says right there. It says it's already yours because it is. If you believe it, you can have it. As you write these things out, don't focus on the how. That's not important. Don't focus on the how. That's not something you need to try and figure out for yourself. So just make sure that you keep that in the forefront of your mind. You're scripting, you're writing. Future you already has these things. Don't worry about how it happened. It will. And then make sure that you are tapping into the energy of. So as you write this, don't write things that feel foreign to you. Don't write things that feel like there's going to be some resistance there, right? If you can't imagine yourself having $1 million, and by that, I mean, if you cannot imagine how you would be able to earn an income that's $833,333, if you can't figure that, like in your brain, you're like, there's no way I'm going to make $833,000 a month, then that's going to be too much for you, right? So maybe it's I'm going to make six figures in 6 months, right? So now we go from I'm going to make $1 million in a year to I'm going to make $200,000 in a year. That might be something you can get behind a little bit easier. And so I just want you to tap into what feels like something that would be a stretch, but there's no resistance, right? So we want you to stretch your capacity in your daydreaming while you do this exercise, but I don't want you to break your brain while you're doing it. The other piece of this, if you are a person who's into numerology this year, as the astrology girls are saying, this is supposed to be a big year for the Lionsgate portal. Now, whether you believe in Lionsgate or not, totally up to you. But I 100% I look at numbers. So this year, like if we're just looking at the numbers, it's 8, right? And so us being in 2025, that adds up to the number 9, which is going to give us to a new beginning. So for those of you who are like, I'm at a space in my life where I need something new, 100%, this is going to be the time that you want to take to sit and script out what does the next phase of your life look like. Now, you're not going to lose anything if you try this, but there's so much you could gain simply by scripting out what the next year of your life is going to look like.